Hi, welcome back to Rambling Roxy's Adventures Through Writing. As I've talked about before, I'm a middle school writing and reading and social studies teacher, but I spent a couple years teaching writing exclusively, which was a lot of fun. And I've also authored now 6 books, and those are all on YouTube. If you want to look them up, don't feel like you have to. But anyways, I just wanted to share some of the things that kind of helped me with my writing and what I've shared with my students in the classroom that's helped them with their writing. Or at least I hope it's helped them with their writing, right? That's all we can hope for, is to help other people with their creative processes. So we've talked about how to start your stories, plot development, descriptive writing, how to be more descriptive in your storytelling. Well, today we're going to talk about another important aspect to storytelling, and that's character development. Typically, if you're writing a story, there's going to be characters in it, right? Even if you're wanting to write something a little bit different, and maybe you have trees and animals as the characters, those are still characters, and they have things that they do. So let's get into a little bit of that. So we're going to talk about character development and how complex it can be. Creating your main characters and supporting characters is more than just like picking like a hair color and a name. Like my main characters in my story, in The Disappearing Act, her name's Zoe and she has like dark curly hair, but there's more to Zoe than being Zoe with dark curly hair. And same thing with Kai's Secret, there's more to Kai than just being Kai and having straight dark brown hair. That like there's a lot more that went into be like her becoming a person. So creating a character is both kind of like a responsibility and can be a lot of fun. You can create your best friend, yourself, or your nemesis, kind of up to you on how you want to make your character, but it is important to put a little bit of thought into it. I personally like to make a map of this. I'll show you a picture right here. I'll put a picture of this up in a minute and we'll talk more in depth about it in a second. But I like to make a map and kind of get all my thoughts out there. That was one that I did for one of my other characters. I'm currently working on some for books I'm writing on now. We'll keep those a secret for now though. So you can find one thing that I found that kind of helps me. I'm not a good drawer. So if you want to, you can kind of you can draw a picture of what your character would look like to kind of help you visualize them. So this will help you describe them later. So it's not, you're talking about their physical traits when you're doing the pictures. But you can also go on Google Images. Maybe you have an idea in your head about who your character might look like. Just in general, like specific traits that get there. Have dark curly hair, that they have blonde hair, all kinds of different physical traits that they could have. But sometimes it's nice to go on Google Images. You can print that image off or, just hit the screenshot and then you can save it for later. Or if you're really good at drawing, maybe you can draw your character. But it kind of helps me when I'm writing to kind of visualize, this is who I'm talking about. So, like I said, I'm not an artist, so I need some help. And this kind of helps me visualize it and helps them come alive in my head. Because when I see the character, they can be in there talking, and before you know it, they become their own person up here, talking and telling the story kind of themselves, which is kind of cool. So this helps describe your characters to help your readers envision them. A tip I would say is just don't say Zoe had dark curly hair and green eyes. You just don't say that at the beginning of the story because that's kind of boring. Do you want to read a book that just randomly has just facts in it like that? Maybe work it into your story. Be Zoe tamed her dark curly locks into a bun. The bright sun glinting in the mirror made her hazel eyes blink. Those are ways that your reader can know what your character looks like, but it's also kind of fun in working it into the description. This is why a map and a picture are so important to help incorporate your character's traits into the story. Like I said, I like to map out everything, what they love, what they hate, their motives, their fears, strengths, weaknesses, their favorite foods, their favorite music. As a reader, it's kind of nice to connect with the characters, and the more you know about them, the better you can get to know them in the story. So when you're thinking about your characters, it's good to think about all the things about them, because just like as a reader, when you're reading a story, Don't you connect a lot more with them if they're going through like a similar struggle you went through, or they like some similar things? So think about that when you're creating your characters, and find ways to work those into the story. I always kind of make a mind map, like I said. This one's here, and I'll put a picture of this one so you can see it better. But my example here is like Zoe from the Disappearing Act. I kind of drew a stick figure because, like I said, I'm not good at drawing. But in like her center, I was like, she loves like her mom and her sister and her friends. Like physical traits, so you know what she looks like. You would say green hair, curly brown hair. She's tan, short, athletic. But then there's a lot more to Zoe than that. If you just had that about her, you wouldn't really have a story, would you? So you like, one of the things is that she discovers she has telepathic powers, things that she likes, rock and roll, reading, dreams of archaeology, some thoughts and motivation. She's loyal, she's helping family and friends, protected, wants something else like in life. She's kind of distrustful of strangers. And then, you know, things like her name. Her name's Zoe and she's 14. Her family is her mom, little sister, Chloe, and then like her friends are Skylar and Xavier. And then you can also create separate character maps for them if you would like as well. And then I like, she's scared of like her new power, or like becoming a bad person. Not being able to rescue her friends is something else she's scared of. So some like weaknesses, you know, that she has is that she's kind of a know-it-all. She can be a little stubborn, a little distrustful, a little sassy. Sassy can also be a strength, right? And then some of her strengths is that she's loyal. I mean, like I said, sassy could be in there too. But she has lots of other strengths that I forget at the moment because I created Zoe in my head, 6 years ago now. So like some of her strengths are kind of fading from me at the moment. And I've obviously lost my original one that I did. This is one that I've recreated because I'm not hung on to all of my writing. But anyways, I just kind of wanted to give you some examples of what I did in helping develop my characters. And I hope when you're sitting down developing your characters, this kind of helps you think about like what all you should be doing to get to know your character, to help your readers get to know your character as well and help build a better story. Because there's nothing better than reading a good story with great characters that also go through great character change. That was one of the important things that I kind of put in my story. So he kind of starts off as a little bit of, a brat. I don't like to use the term brat very much, but she's, not, kind of acts that way. And then she really develops as a person, going through all these trials that she does and becomes a leader and becomes stronger and isn't quite as like, I don't want to say mean to people, she wasn't mean to people, but she kind of thought less about herself and more about others. And that's important too, is if you want your character to grow as a person, because we all grow every day, mentally and physically, and it's nice to add that personal mental growth in there as well. So I hope this all helps you, and thanks for tuning in to Rambling Roxy's Adventures in Writing, and keep writing. Don't forget to subscribe.